Most families have no idea that the government publishes detailed inspection reports for every nursing home in the country. These reports are free, they're public, and they're available right now for any facility in Missouri, in Illinois, or really any other state. And most families, they never look at them. I'm David Terry, a nursing home abuse and neglect attorney in St. Louis, and I've been reviewing these reports for 25 years. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how to find them, how to read them, and what to do when you find them. So let's get into it. Every nursing home that accepts Medicare or Medicaid is subject to regular government inspections. Those are called surveys, and they're conducted by state inspectors. So in Missouri, that's the Department of Health and Senior Services. In Illinois, it's the Department of Public Health. Both of those working on behalf of the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, what everybody calls CMS. Now, there's two different types of surveys. A standard survey is the regular routine inspection that's supposed to happen at least every 15 months. Those are typically called annual surveys. Complaint surveys happen when somebody files a complaint and inspectors go back to the facility. And both are in the database and both are worth reading. So where do you find these survey reports? Well, the easiest option works for every state in the country. So you go to Medicare.gov and click on Find Care Providers. And then you go to Nursing Homes Including Rehab Services button. Search by the facility name, city or zip code, find your facility, and click on the Inspections tab. Now, you can also get there by typing in your search bar Medicare.gov/Nursing Home Compare. For me, that's the easiest way to do it. So this is the national database, and it has Missouri and Illinois facilities and facilities in all 50 states. Now, if your loved one is in Missouri, the state maintains its own database called Show Me Long-Term Care in Missouri. I'll drop that link in the description, by the way. Now, it's sometimes a little more current than the federal database, so it's worth checking both of them. Now, for Illinois, the Illinois Department of Public Health maintains its own nursing home information page as well. But honestly, in my review of it, the Illinois state site tends to run further behind than the others. So for Illinois, I'd start with the Medicare.gov site and then use the state site maybe as a supplement. But I'll drop the Illinois site link in as well. Now, if you're watching from any other state, my guess is your state has a site specific to your state as well, but I don't have those states readily available. But go to Medicare.gov/Nursing Home Compare and you'll be able to find anything for your state. Now let's talk about how to read these reports. Survey reports can run 25, 50 to 150 pages. Now, while they look pretty daunting at first, don't panic. Once you understand the structure, they're pretty straightforward. Every violation is tied to something called an F tag, which is a shorthand numbered code that corresponds to a specific federal regulation. So for example, a violation of F tag 550 means that there was a violation of 42 CFR section 483.10A1, which addresses specific rights residents have in nursing homes. That's why they use F tags. It's a lot shorter. If an investigator determines that the facility failed to follow a particular regulatory rule, which is identified as an F tag, they would cite that facility for that failure. And that's called a citation. Now, next to each identified F tag, you'll also see two things: level of harm and residents affected. This is all in the left-hand column. The level of harm simply identifies how bad the harm or potential harm was. For example, the investigators may determine that the nursing home failed to follow a regulatory rule, but there was no actual harm to any resident, and it had the potential for minimal harm. This is the least serious citation that they can give. However, they may also determine that the facility's failure resulted in an immediate jeopardy situation where residents were in serious danger of being harmed or were seriously harmed. So there's a range in these citations related to the injuries and the number of residents injured or who could have been injured that's available for the investigators to follow. Under each F tag violation, there's a narrative that describes what inspectors observed, who they interviewed, and what was said in those interviews. This narrative can sometimes be several pages long, But in the narrative, residents are identified by number, not by name, and staff are also identified by job title and letter, again, not by name. And these narratives often include direct quotes. So I recommend that you read them, as this gives you powerful information on how residents felt or what employees were experiencing when something bad was happening. A CNA telling a surveyor that there's one aide for 40 residents says more than any summary really can. And a resident describing what happened to them in their own words is powerful. Don't just read the F-tag list, be sure and read those narratives. Now, unfortunately, there's almost always a lag between when a survey happens and when it appears online. And this delay is often several months. Federal rules require annual surveys be at least every 15 months, but state agencies are frequently behind in posting them online. So the most recent report that you find may be older than what you would expect, but don't let that stop you from reading it. What inspectors found in a previous survey still matters, because one survey is often just a snapshot in a pattern or the same violations over multiple surveys. Now, that is information that you're going to want to know as you consider a nursing home for your loved one. So now you know where to find the surveys and you now know how to read them. But what do you do with them? So first, look at how many surveys are in the database. Multiple complaint surveys in a short period of time means multiple people filed complaints. And that on its own is pretty significant information. And then second, read the full narratives on any actual harm or immediate jeopardy citations. Understand what actually happened in the inspector's own words. And then third, look for patterns. The same citation appearing over 2 or 3 or 4 surveys, that means that the problem wasn't fixed by the facility. And that pattern tells you more about a facility than any single report can. So if you're considering a facility, bring these reports to the facility and ask questions. If your loved one's already there, use these citations to know what to watch for with your loved one. And if your loved one has been seriously harmed by a nursing home facility, you might want to consider contacting an attorney who handles these cases. Now, this is a first in a series of videos that I will be doing that walk through actual inspection reports for specific Missouri and Illinois facilities. In those videos, I'll let you know what the findings of the facility surveys were and let you draw your own conclusions. So watch for those and check them out next. If you are in Missouri or Illinois and you want me to cover a specific facility that matters to you, let me know in the comments and we'll try to see if we can make that happen as soon as possible. And finally, please share these videos, subscribe for updates, make comments in the comments section, and join our channel. The nursing home industry wants to operate in the dark, and we're trying to help families learn how this industry actually works by shining a spotlight on it. And we'd love to have you be part of that mission. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.